What's up guys, this is Boogie back again with a new video. Just quickly before we get into my fantasy video, basically one of the boys, so my coach, one of my coaches and one of my good mates, Aaron Blackie, he got signed to the PFL. So the boys at Base Training Center, the place that I train at, they put together this t-shirt to support him, basically, to show him good luck and that, give him a little bit of money towards his campaign over in the PFL, and I'm really excited to see him fight over there. So shout out to you, Aaron Blackie. If you want to buy a shirt for the boys, this is not sponsored at all in any sort of way. It's just one of the boys obviously doing really well, in his career. So if you want to buy a shirt, I'll put a link in the description down below. Few and Far Co. Definitely check those guys out. They got amazing shirts and stuff like that. But number one, like for Aaron Blackie, just quickly, he is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. He, breaks down things so well. Amazing fighter. Can take it anywhere. So I'm really excited to see how he fights. Keep the name in your head, Aaron Blackie. Shout out to you, brother. I really appreciate you taking me under your wing when we train, everything, all that. So, you're gonna kill it out there, man. So, show support, guys. If you ever see it, if you really want one, I love the shirt. I bought an extra large, suits everything. So, go check the link down in the description and go support some of the boys, doing great things in the community. And also, shout out to Base Training Center, the place that I train jiu-jitsu and that there. My t-shirt up here. If you're ever looking for an amazing place to train jiu-jitsu, MMA, striking, all that, Base Training Center in Brendale, go check them out online. I'll put a link in the description down below as well. So none of this is sponsored. They're just like good mates of mine, my coaches, my friends. So go check them out. All right, straight into the video, basically. So this is my fantasy team. I'm going to just give you a really quick run through my team and who do I think, like why I put them there and that. I don't want to make a big video because I tried making a full team video and all that, and it just didn't work out. So hopefully I can run through the teams of the week, maybe later on, maybe tomorrow or not. But yeah, quickly we'll get straight through to this fantasy. My fullback is James Tedesco. So I thought James Tedesco is going to have an amazing year this year, back with a team that shouldn't have too many injuries. And like him and Kiri and all that put together, I see a lot of tries. I see a lot of try assists. I think he's in for a big year. My other wing pairing, Xavier Coates and Rocco Berry. Two cheapies, but also got a lot of potential. Obviously, Xavier taking over Addo Carr's spot. That's the reason why I put him there. 330k, and the potential on this guy is crazy. Like, he might be the buy of the year. Rocco Berry, I'm really high on him in the Warriors. Reminds me, don't crucify me for this, but reminds me a lot of like a Joey Manu type of player. But defensively, he's really nice, and he's got that nice little slick offload, dummy and go. Excited to see him this year in the center role for the Warriors. So my two centers this year at the moment is Stephen Crichton and Penasini. Penasini to start the season, he's going to match up against Paddy Herbert and the Titans. So I don't know if he's going to have an amazing game to start. Sorry, boys. To start with, because Paddy Herbert is a beast on the defensive side. So Penasini might not be able to shine as much. But as long as he does all the little things right, at 350k, I don't see any real downside to him, and a lot of talk around him, so he's got a bit of upside. So my other center, Stephen Crichton, going back to the normal Stephen Crichton this year, hopefully with not too many injuries, he can stay in his spot and try assists, tries. I think he's in for a big year this year. Showed how much of a big game player he was in that grand final last year. So I'm excited to have him in the team. 350k, I think that's cheap as chips, and hopefully he goes up and up from here. Other good players that you could have in your center role, obviously Zach Lomax, Moses Sully, I think is in for a good year. You could go Ewan Aiken, that's going into your forward spot. I think he's a dual player, so look out for those type of players. But those are the guys I picked, to be honest. So all right, so my halves pairing to start off with, I did have Nathan Cleary, and this is why you see such a big salary cap thing here. This might change going in. I might fill out the team a little bit better, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that. First round, I might just take the L or whatever comes from it, because I see a lot of promise in some of the guys here. And then bring Cleary back in round 3. So I might, next week, you might see me use this 500k somewhere else. It was just an unfortunate one when you see the team list come out and then you hear, yeah, Cleary's out for 3 weeks, and you heard inklings of it, but you just didn't expect it, and bang, bang, I had to change it around. So Nico Hines, I feel like, is a good spot there because, I could definitely keep him in the team overall if any of these guys kick on and raise their price. And as a dual position player, like I can keep him somewhere in the wing fullback position or in halves. So I thought it was a good pickup. I think I was seeing a lot of try assists for him as well. You're going to hear me say that way too much, but try assists, tries. He's a slick player, a lot of X factor. So I'm excited to see him this year. And my other halves pairing is Ilias. Also got two younger guys like Billy Walters and Snyder as my reserves, as my emergencies. These boys are both starting as well. So all three of these guys, young, first-year players, 300K for him, 240. I feel like legit this year, if any of these guys, average over 30 to 40 or whatever happens there, they're going to raise up in price. So this is the reason why I'm starting with them like that. And then later on the year, I'll switch him out to whoever I believe is going to end the year really well and end the year with a really nice team. So coming through Origin period as well, it's nice to have players like this that may not get selected for Origin because I'll have to find what to go with Tedesco. Crichton will probably get into some of the development ones. Liam Martin maybe if he kicks on this year, Radley, Payne Haas. Those sort of players. So there is a lot of mixing and matching, but this is fantasy. You got your trades, you got to figure all that sort of stuff out. But this is the team I'm looking at the moment anyway. So Ilias, as long as he kicks well and controls the team, I think Cody Walker, if you want another big buy, Cody Walker could be a really good spot player to put you in your spot here. Because Ilias, I feel like he's just going to be getting your kick meters, that sort of stuff, and controlling the team. But at 300K, I see upside there where he can raise his price and I can sell him out later on. Eli Katoa, I'm really fucking excited to see him this year. Being a Warriors fan, he gives me old school like Bodine Thompson vibes, running off Sean Johnson, hitting them short balls. And we know that Eli Katoa, so close to the line, is going to be tough to stop. And then maybe looking into players like Tohu Harris a little bit later on for the Warriors, depending on if Katoa can hold up his spot. Tohu could go into number 13. Then Joshy Curran, you have to fix out where he goes because he's a good player too. But when that problem comes to us, we'll figure that out. But at the moment, Eli Katoa, I'm so excited for him this year. He looks amazing. So Liam Martin is my other edge there, obviously taking over Catewell. I think he's in for a decent year. This one is a bit of a tough one for me. That 499K, I don't know if there's too much upside at all there, but I feel like he's going to kick on real well. Like he's got a really nice, damaging short ball game. His defense is what gets me. I like his defense. He's always 100% effort type player. So I see a lot of upside there with that. But at 499, there could be other players that could be filling that spot that could raise their price and stuff like that. But we'll see how the year goes on. I picked him because that was my first thought. I thought, Catewell gone, Liam Martin will get a shot, and I think he'll shine with that shot. So with my middles, I got Adam Fanor-Blake, Payne Haas, and Victor Radley. Payne Haas, I had to move mountains for, but I really wanted to put him in my squad. I wasn't going to start with. I was trying to fill out a team a bit more balanced, but I think with players like this and watching boys the fantasy analysis guy on YouTube and stuff, shout out to you guys, all those videos, it made me formulate the team a little bit better. Again, I'm a casual bloke. I go to work Monday to Friday. I don't do this as a job, guys. I love footy. So I just thought, I may as well do some videos on it and everything like that. So, Payne Haas, I feel like is going to be a stayer pretty much all year, consistency wise, he's always going to be there. So I slapped the captain on him. When Cleary comes back, he'll most likely be my captain. So we'll see how that plays out for me. Adam Fanor-Blake is my other player here. I think he's in for a massive year with the Warriors. He's going to be our forward pack leader this year, so I'm excited to see how he goes. I think he's in for a massive year. I reckon he's going to be averaging over 60s. Yeah, and especially with no injuries and suspensions, hopefully. I think he's in for a good year. And Victor Radley, another one that could be debated, but I think he's going to be instrumental in the Roosters this year. I see a lot of try assists and tries and good defensive stats from him. Obviously, the big cloud over him is suspensions and hopefully, and some injuries, I guess, but more so suspensions. I just hope he doesn't get suspended too much this year where I'll have to have him out of my team. So, he's going to be on rocky waters with me. If he gets suspended this year, he's out of my team. I won't bring him back in. But if he starts the year really well in that, I could be right. I feel like at 563, I think he's going to be an instrumental player on my team. And at hooker and mid, I got Brendan Smith. So I put him mainly here because I feel like him switching, he'll probably play 13 most of the year as well. That's the reason why I got Wishart. So, and when Grant comes back, he'll fill in that hooker role. But at 13, he'll get a lot of attacking opportunities from that side, like run meters, tackles. I think he's in for a good year this year. And like, this is like reminding me of like the Last Dance type of vibes with the Storm. So I think all those boys are in for a big year. If you could find Munster as well, if you find a spot for him in the squad, I reckon he's in for a massive year as well. But Brendan Smith, my hooker to start the year. So we'll see how we go. So my bench, pretty quickly, I'll run through it. Bullymore, he came from the Broncos, looked really nice, and the Seagulls picked him up. He's going to be starting the year at that number 12 spot, I think. Or a number 11 spot. Either way, he's the opposite side where Schuster used to be until Schuster comes back from injury. So I'm going to hold him there at 331. I think he'll be averaging good numbers to start with and raise his price. Isaac Tago, a lot of name around him starting the year at centre. He'll probably hold that centre spot throughout the whole year. So at 334k, I think he's upwards and up. So he's a dual type player as well. So could play edge. So if any of these injuries come through, I'll slip him into an edge position. I think he's a good player to have in your team. Aaron Penne, he has a massive talk around him from the Storm. We bought him a nice big middle at 348. He's going to be starting on the bench. So I still think he'll be averaging decent points off the bench. But when he gets our starting spot, which I predict by like mid to the end of the year, I reckon he's a good player to have in your squad, just getting ready for that position to change. And basically, Wishart's going to fill out my rest of my spot. If Hetherington wasn't injured, I'll chuck him in. But Wishart, I know on the team list, he's starting 14. I don't believe he will be starting on the bench. I reckon he's going to be a hooker to start, and then they'll push Brendan Smith to 13. And I think the other player that they have at that 13 position is Josh King. I think he'll be going to the bench spot. I think that's pretty much how they formulated our team list. They didn't want to share that, obviously Brendan Smith's back at hooker, but I reckon Wishart's going to start at hooker. I don't know. That's my little prediction, but Wishart at 220k. There's just all upside there, to be honest. And if you don't have him in your team, probably find a way to fit him in. And in my emergencies, so Hetherington's sitting there. He's got injury. So at 376, I thought I'd just pick him up anyway. He's going to be in my emergency. I feel like a big year for him. Again, another dual player, so hooker and mid, so could play in between. Great player for filling for injuries. Kula starting 14. We'll have to see how he goes off the bench, but definitely could snag some sort of starting role. And at 220k, cheap as chips. And as I explained before, you got Billy Walters and Snyder that snag starting roles this year, and they, for me, they 240k, they're all upside. Like Billy Walters looked pretty good in the trials, and I think he's going to be mostly the 6 for most of the year for the Broncos until they figure that out. And Snyder, I know Fogarty's out for a bit, so basically I'll sit him in emergency, see how he goes this week, and then slot him in, depending on how much, he grows and stuff, or I could trade him out and this and that, But yeah, overall, that's pretty much my team. That's kind of why I formulated it is what it is. I know for, I got 507, K sitting on my bench, so I could... on my fucking remaining on my salary. So I could fill in any sort of spot, make anyone better in that, but I might leave it at that. Things happen. I'm just going to see how the week plays out. And then next week, I'm going to make those big decisions on who I'm going to chuck where and, who to trade out, who not to trade out. So hopefully this week's going to be a good one. The footy's back. I'm so excited. Again, if you guys want some of these shirts, I'm going to put the link in the description. Shout out to Aaron Blackie, bro. You mean a lot to me, my man. You're one of my coaches, one of my friends. So I ask you for advice all the time and all that sort of stuff. And you're such a nice bloke and that. So you're going to kill it in PFL, bro. Like people haven't seen you yet, mate. You're going to surprise everyone at PFL. And I'm so excited to see. So guys, if you haven't jumped on the train, jump on the train now. Aaron Blackie, here we go. Into another year, NRL. Let's go. Peace out.